A terrorist explosion at the parking area of the Justice Palace in Damascus wounds 3 persons and damages 20 parking cars. Arab and international condemnation of the terrorist attack against the Syrian al-Ikhbariya news channel continues. Russia reiterates rejection of any foreign intervention in Syria. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our news for today. A terrorist explosion occurred at noon today in the parking area of the Justice Palace in al-Marja at the center of Damascus. The explosion caused the injury of 3 people and heavy material damages on more than 20 parking cars. SANA correspondent pointed out that fire crew were able to extinguish the flame just minutes after the incident. Condemnation of the terrorist crime against Syrian news media through targeting al-Ikhbariya news channel continues, branding the ugly act as an unsuccessful attempt to silence a national media platform that has been set on exposing the lies of the misleading Gulf channels.
Lebanese Foreign and Expatriates Minister Adnan Mansour has condemned the terrorist attack against the Syrian al-Ikhbariya news channel yesterday. In a cable address to the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign and Expatriates Minister Walid al-Muallim, Mansour expressed his deep condolences to the martyrs' families and his wishes to the wounded of speedy recovery. He prayed to God to grant Syria security and stability that would enable it to resume its effective pioneer role inside the Arab nation. The Syrian Engineers Union and the Syrian Al-Watan Society also denounced the cowardly attack that targeted al-Ikhbariya news channel, branding it as an attempt to silence the sound of truth and free media of resistance. The Syrian communities in the Czech Republic and the Brazilian Goiás province and the Syrian Students' Union in Slovakia said in statements that this heinous crime interpreted on the ground the instigation campaigns against Syria and its people. They strongly condemned the evil act, affirming that the attempts to silence the voice of truth will be doomed to failure. The Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party regional leadership in Yemen also denounced this barbaric massacre against Syrian news media, which disclosed the narrow-mindedness and deep malice of the fanatics and terrorists who perpetrated this atrocity. Within the same context, the Tunisian Pro-Arab Resistance and Anti-Normalization and Anti-Zionism National Commission has also condemned the terrorist act, affirming that the aggressors will not succeed in silencing the voice of resistance and exposing the misleading pro-sedition channels.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov renewed his country's rejection of any foreign intervention in Syria, imposing ready-made formulas on the Syrian people who are supposed to determine their own future through a comprehensive national dialogue. Lavrov added that there is no pre-planned project for Syria during the meeting in Geneva scheduled to be held on Saturday.
The aim of the Geneva meeting is to support the international envoy Kofi Annan's plan and to create the appropriate circumstances for launching the national comprehensive dialogue to solve the crisis in Syria. I call for applying the principles of the sovereignty of international law in the international relations, embracing the multi-pluralism and consolidating the United Nations' central role.
With regard to the horrible massacre against al-Ikhbariya TV, the Russian Foreign Minister expressed regret over the attack, stressing that the Syrian media channels must not be stopped.
The Syrian news channels must not be stopped, as some Arab and European countries are calling for, because the freedom of expression must be preserved.
Iran's ambassador to the UN, Mohammad Khazai, has reiterated his country's support for Kofi Annan's plan, considering it as the best way to solve the crisis in Syria. Khazai expressed Iran's readiness to contribute to Annan's efforts to reach a solution, referring to Iran's constructive role in the region. Karzai expressed his country's belief that by stopping assistance to foreign and opposition groups and by avoiding foreign intervention in Syria, the Syrian people will enjoy a better life and smoothly bring about reform in their country. Hamas leader Kamal Hasni Ghannaja was killed in his house in Damascus. Osama Hamdan, the coordinator of foreign relations and Hamas movement, said that the first beneficiary from his assassination is the Zionist entity, pointing out that the Israeli Mossad is behind Ghannaji's assassination. Ghannaja worked as an aide for Mahmoud al-Mabhouh, who was assassinated by the Israeli Mossad in Dubai. Sources pointed out that an investigation committee headed by Judge Radwan Barakat has been formed to look into the circumstances of the crime. A series of bombs around Iraq's capital have killed 14 people and wounded 59 others. The deadliest strike came at dawn in the city of Taji, just north of Baghdad. Officials said 2 cars blew up outside the government office, damaging nearby homes and killing 5 people and wounding 18. A few hours later, a police patrol hit a roadside bomb in the southern region of Baghdad. Police and hospital officials said 1 person was killed and 6 wounded. At mid-morning, a car bomb exploded outside the market in the eastern Baghdad. Authorities said 3 people were killed and 17 injured. Back to our local news, the People's Assembly held its 8th session in the forenoon today, headed by Assembly Speaker Mr. Muhammad Jihad al-Laham. The Assembly endorsed the draft law amending Article 556 of the Penalties Law. The article stipulates 10 to 20 years of hard labor and a fine of double the sum of ransom as punishment for an act of kidnapping with violence or deceiving an individual for the sake of ransom. Maximum penalty and fine will be imposed if the act is perpetrated on a minor who has not completed 18 years of age, in addition to the fine. A kidnapper is sentenced to temporary hard labor if the period of kidnapping is more than 1 month, or if the kidnapped is subject to physical or moral torture, or if the act is perpetrated on an employee while performing his job. The Assembly also endorsed a draft law discharging every worker or civil servant and stopping his or her salary and preventing him or her from his or her retirement rights if his or her indictment is confirmed that he or she has committed a terrorist act, joined a terrorist group, or offered a material or moral support to terrorists. With this, we end our news bulletin for this afternoon. For more information about Syria and the region, you can visit our website, syriaonline.sy. Up next, the latest business